Hello everyone, welcome back to Genius Knowledge Point, your one place for practical programming solutions for computer and IT students. I am making this video to provide practical knowledge to all students so that you can develop your own programs which will be helpful for your studies as well as career. In this video we will see practical number 29 of Java programming, which is according to case scheme of Diploma Computer and IT students, and semester number is 4. And the topic in this video is to demonstrate the use of prepared statement. So in previous practical we have seen a statement interface, and using that interface what we can do, we can send our queries to the database. So let us see how the statement interface is. So in that practical we have created a statement interface, and using that statement interface object we are using execute update or execute query or execute functions, and in that bracket we are passing our SQL query, which is designed in the form of string. So this is how statement interface works. So for that purpose we have to create our query first in the form of string, and using that query we will be passing that query variable or query object inside the bracket of execute statement of function. So this is how the statement interface works. But in the case when we want to take input from the user, so in this case we have generated a query as delete from student where roll number is equal to 4343. So this is 4343 number is manually passed here. But what if you want to take input from the user and pass that input in this place? So what will happen? You have to generate query accordingly. You have to take input from the user in the form of integer, then you have to pass that integer at this place, and that will be little bit complicated because you have to generate or you have to create that string properly, then only the query will be run on the database, otherwise it will generate an exception or error. So that's why we have one more interface, that is called prepared statement interface. And using that interface what you can do, you can pass values inside your query afterwards. So that's why prepared statement is designed inside your Java programming. So directly moving toward the practical related questions, and there we will see how prepared statement can be used. The first question is, develop a program to update record in database table. So we have already seen how to update table or update record inside table in previous practical, but in this practical we are going to use prepared statement instead of normal statement. So directly moving toward the code. So this is the code. So initially I am using import java.sql because you are going to use SQL related classes and interfaces. Then my class definition will be public class update demo. So this is the main class. Next I am creating main function public static void main. In that I am taking a try catch block because we need to handle exceptions here. So first statement inside try block is class.forName, so that is loading of the driver. So you have to pass the connection driver string here, com.mysql.cj.jdbc driver. Next I am just printing driver loaded message. Next I am creating connection object, which is connection con is equal to driver manager.get connection. Then we have to pass string URL, which is connection URL. Then second parameter as your username, and third parameter which is password. So this is how the connection string will be, and using that connection it will be created as a connection object which is con. Next I am just printing connection created message. Next I am creating object of prepared statement. So while creating prepared statement you have to pass query inside the prepared statement constructor or prepared statement object creation. Prepared statement PSMT, so this is the object name, is equal to con.preparedStatement. So you have to remember that prepared statement, and on the right side we have prepared statement. So you have to remember this difference. And while creating this function or calling this function, you have to pass a query in which you will be passing the values, and the missing values you should be mentioned using question mark. So this is how the prepared statement will be having the structure. So con.preparedStatement, in that I am passing string value which is update student set branch is equal to if, where roll number is equal to question mark. So why I am using question mark here? Because I can pass this question mark value afterwards. That's why it is called prepared statement. It is prepared first, and next the value of question mark can be assigned afterwards. So this is how the prepared statement object is created, which is PSTMT. Next I am using this set functions which are set int, set string, This is how the multiple functions are available according to your data value. So I am using integer value here, which is roll number having integer value. So that's why PSMT.setInt. Why I am using setInt? Because it is having integer value, and after that you have to pass two parameters. First parameter is the number of the question mark. In my case, the query is having only single question mark, so that's why it is having one only. Then comma, you have to pass integer value, which is 8989. So what it will do, it will pass this 8989 value at this question mark location while running this query. So this is how prepared statement works. You can pass the values afterwards, and in those values place you will be passing question mark while creating your query. So this is how the question mark is included, and afterwards you can pass values at that question mark location, and you have to remember the location of the question mark because they are numbered according to their sequence. So I have one question mark here, so that's why I am putting 1, 8989 inside setInt function. So this is how the value will be set inside this prepared statements query. Next, I am using int I is equal to pstmt.executeUpdate. So I am calling this executeUpdate function. So it will just update the query, or it will run the update query inside my database, and after that the result will be generated, which is generated as integer value because the number of rows which are affected using this query, that will be the output of this executeUpdate function, and that function will return integer value. So that's why I have taken int I is equal to pstmt.executeUpdate. So the number of rows affected will be stored into I variable, and that I value is printed afterwards. So system.out.println I plus records updated. So it will display one records updated or two records updated according to your database values or database rows. So this is how the prepared statement is executed here, and finally I am closing the connection object, which is con.close. Then try block is completed. Inside catch I am just catching the exception, that is E object, and I am printing that E object, so the exception value will be printed. So the catch is complete, then main function is completed, and finally class is also completed. So I am saving this code, and to run this code, first you have to open the XAMPP control panel. Then your Apache service and MySQL service should be running. You have to start both the services. Then to check whether the service is running, you have to click on this admin button. You will go to this web page, and in that web page you will see the student table is available. So you have to check whether the student table is available, because you are going to run the query on that student table. So it should be available inside MyDB database. So my student table is available, and it should be having some value of roll number as 8989. So if you see, I have inserted multiple values. In that I have 8989 roll number value. So I can run the query now. So to running the query, you have to go to the location. So you have to open CMD here. After opening CMD, first command is java c space class name dot java. So after entering, there is no error, that means program is compiled successfully. Second command is java space class name only. So my database is already running in the background, so I can run the program. So after entering, you can see the output is generated as driver loaded, connection is created, and one records updated, because we had only one records with the roll number 8989, so it has printed one records updated. So to check the output, what you have to do, you have to go to the MySQL control panel, and you have to refresh this student table. So click on this student table, or you have a refresh button here. After clicking on this refresh button, you can see the roll number 8989 was having CM as the branch. So now it is displaying as IF, because we have generated query like this. We have changed the branch to IF where roll number was 8989. So this is how we have updated the table using update query, and we have used prepared statement here, because prepared statement is useful whenever you want to pass the values afterwards. So in case you want to accept values from the user and you want to pass that values inside your query, so in that case prepared statement is very helpful, because you can send multiple values afterwards which are passed from the user. Those values will be stored into multiple variables which you are using inside your program. So this is how we have completed this question. Now let us see second question. Develop a JDBC program to retrieve data. So in previous practical and previous question, we have seen we have used query to send data to the database, that is insert query we have run. Then we have run update query on the database to update database table or delete row inside table. So that was a one-way operation. We are just sending data to the table or updating data inside table. But database is not just designed for one-way operation. It is designed for two-way operation, that is we can send data to the database as well as we can retrieve data from the database. That is called two-way operation. Whenever we need data from the database, we can retrieve that data from the database using some concept. So that's why we are going to use the concept of retrieving data from the database. So directly moving toward the code. So this is the code for retrieving data from the database. So initially I am importing the SQL package, as we are going to use SQL related classes interfaces. Then my main class definition is there, public class result demo. Then I am starting main function. In that I am taking a try block. Then the first step is similar to the previous question, that is class.forName, that is loading of the driver, which is MySQL driver. Then I am printing that driver is loaded. Then creating connection object using driver manager.getConnection, and the rest string is same. First part is the connection URL, then second parameter is the username, and third parameter is password. So that we have already seen in previous question and previous practical. Then printing connection created message. Then I am creating statement object as statement st is equal to con.createStatement. So this time I am using statement object here. So it will create a statement object and the object name is st. Then I am creating my query, that is string query is equal to select star from student. So this time I am using select query because I want to retrieve data from the database. So whenever you want to take data from the database into your program, you will be using select query. So I am using select star from student. So all the rows from the database table student will be taken into my program. So that's why I am using select query here. So to take data from the database into your program, you have to use one interface which is called ResultSet interface, and we have to use the object of ResultSet interface as ResultSet rs is equal to st.executeQuery, that is statement object dot execute query, and in that bracket parameter you have to pass that query value. So this is how the select query will run here, and every time you run select query you have to use execute query function. So automatically the values from the database will be fetched, and all those values will be in the form of rows. So those rows will be fetched and those rows will be fetched as a table inside your program, and those table rows will be stored into this ResultSet object which is rs. So to print those values you have to use multiple functions of ResultSet object that we will see inside this while loop. So before that I am just printing system.out.println roll number, then /t/t/t, then name, then /t/t/t. So 3 times I am using /t. Why? Because we want to display the columns with proper gap. So that's why I am using roll number as a first column. So this will be the roll number as a column. Then /t is printed because there will be gap between roll number column and name column. Similarly, I am using /t to put gap between name and branch column. So this is how the data will be properly aligned. Next I am using while loop. In that while loop I am using rs.next. So multiple methods are available for this ResultSet interface object. So I am using next function. So what is the meaning of next function? It will be pointing to the next row of ResultSet or next row of the data that we have fetched from the database, and data is retrieved in the form of table, and those table will be having multiple rows. So that's why I am using next function. So automatically it will check for the first row of the ResultSet data. So in that first row what I am doing, system.out.println rs.getInt. So my first column is having integer value, so that's why I am using getInt function of rs object. Then in that I am passing 1, so it will be taking the first column. Then I am attaching /t, so automatically it will put a proper gap between first column and second column. Next I am using rs.getString. Why I am using getString function here? Because the second value is having name value, and name value is taken in the form of string. So that's why I am using getString, and the column number is 2. So that's why I am putting 2 inside the bracket. Then again I am using /t, so there will be gap between 2 columns. Next I am using rs.getString again, because branch is also having string value and passing 3 as a parameter because it is having third column. So this is how all the values from first row will be printed here. So my rs is now pointing to the first row using this rs.next function, and the values from first row will be printed as getInt and first column, getString second column, and getString third column. So the first row will be printed properly. Next again it will go inside the while loop, because while loop is not ended here. Until the rs.next is having some value which is true value, the while loop will continue. So next time again it will run the next function, and if the row is present it will return true, and again it will run this statement which is printing of second row. Again it will go to the next function, that is rs.next. If the row is present there, it will return true, and we will go inside while loop and it will print the next row. Similarly, whatever the number of rows are present inside your rs table, that is ResultSet object, those rows will be printed here. And as soon as you come to the last row, automatically the rs.next will return false, because there is no row after the last row. So that's why the while loop will be break and you will move out of the loop. This is how all the rows will be printed inside this while loop. And for printing the column names, we have generated the separate println statement to print the column names. So the while loop is complete, try block is complete. Then I am using the catch statement to catch the exception, which is object E, and I am just printing that object. So it will just print the object and its messages. So the catch is complete, then main function is complete, and class is also complete. So saving the code, then to run this code I have to copy the class name. So copying the class name, then going to the CMD or going to the location, then creating new CMD here. So first command is javac space classname dot java. So after entering there is no error, that means program is compiled successfully. Next command is java space classname only, and before that I have already started my MySQL server, so it is already running in the background, and these are the multiple values which are present inside student table. So it should display all the values. So I am just pressing enter here now. So driver is loaded, then connection to the database is created. Then after that it has printed the column names which we have manually printed. Roll number is printed, name is printed, branch is printed, and there is proper gap because we have put triple times /t to format it properly. Next the first row is printed, then it has moved to the second row using this rs.next function, and it has printed second row, then third row, fourth row. All the rows are properly printed here. Then after last row, what it has done, it has returned the false inside that rs.next function. That's why while loop ended here and our program output is stopped here. So this is how we can use ResultSet interface to retrieve data from the database. We can store that data inside your ResultSet interface object, and using navigation methods which are available inside ResultSet interface object, you can use next function to move to the next row again and again using while loop, and you can print all the values inside your table which are retrieved inside your program. So this is how this question is also completed, and the practical number 29 is also completed here, which was regarding prepared statement. We have used prepared statement in the first question to update the record inside the table, and in the second question we have used ResultSet interface to retrieve data from database to program, then from program we have printed it on the CMD. So this is how this practical is completed here. So that's it for today's practical. I hope you understand the program clearly. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more such programming solutions, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. If you have any doubts or need solutions for other programs, drop a comment below. I will be happy to help. Thanks for watching and happy coding.